I'm going to compress 10 years of trading psychology into 10 minutes. 5 levels you have to pass to become profitable. Most traders never get past the first one. Let me start with the part nobody wants to hear. Your strategy will make you rich. I lost money for years with the exact same strategy that later made me hundreds of thousands. Even a perfect strategy collapses when emotions take the wheel. My biggest losses never came from bad setups. They came from good setups traded badly. Here's how it usually goes. A perfect setup appears. Structure, indicators, entry rules, everything lines up, and you hesitate. Maybe you took a loss yesterday, maybe you're stressed from work. So you sit there frozen, watching the trade play out exactly as you called it without you. Now you're angry. The next setup shows up and it's marginal. It barely qualifies. You take it anyway because you're not trading your plan anymore. You're trading your emotions and you lose again. That doesn't make you a bad trader. It makes you human. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a physical threat and a financial one. When you lose money, your nervous system reacts like you're being chased. Adrenaline floods in. Logic shuts down. Survival mode takes over. Trading forces you to confront who you actually are. Your patience, your self-worth, your deepest fears. Every time you click that button, you're not just risking money, you're risking your ego. The fix that actually worked for me was emotional journaling. Not trade notes, emotions. What I felt before, during, and after every trade. Felt anxious because I lost yesterday. Felt euphoric after 3 wins. Got overconfident on the 4th. Was angry at my boss. Took it out on a revenge trade. Over time, the patterns show up. Anger before impulsive entries. Euphoria before blowups. Fear before missed opportunities. Once you can name the emotion, you can neutralize it. Start simple. Before every trade, ask yourself what you're feeling right now. If that answer is anything other than calm and confident, don't trade. That's it. You're not trying to control your emotions. You're trying to manage them. Now, people ask how I pulled off my biggest payouts, and the honest answer is that it was repetitive and boring. Picture sitting at your desks for 6 hours and taking one trade, or none. Not because there were no opportunities, but because only one met your criteria. Meanwhile, someone in a Discord is posting 15 trades a day talking about how hard they're grinding. What they don't see is that your one trade made more than all 15 of theirs combined because they couldn't sit still. They needed action. They needed to feel busy. I didn't build this account finding a magic setup. I built it following the same boring rules for 5 years straight. No exceptions. No, just this once. No, I'll break my rule because this one feels different. Ask yourself honestly, how many times have you broken your own rules? You know you should wait for confirmation and you enter early. You know you should cut the loss and you give it a little more room. And here's what most people get wrong. Discipline isn't willpower. Discipline is building systems that make good decisions automatic. You need a routine, the same one every day, not because routines are magic, but because they remove decision fatigue. If you make 50 small decisions before you even place a trade, you're exhausted before you start. Don't chance everything at once. Start with one thing. Check the same 3 items every morning. Market structure, key levels, news. Do that for a week. Then add a pre-trade checklist. Test it for a week. If it improves your trading, keep it. Your routine should be so ingrained that skipping it feels wrong. That's when you know it's working. Quick pause here because this is genuinely time sensitive and I don't want you to miss it. Right now, there's a one-time offer running at 4Prop Trader. 50K accounts, both futures and CFD, for €1. €1. This is only available through the link in the description of this video. Nowhere else. So if you've been waiting for a reason to actually put this stuff into practice, this is it. Grab it before it's gone. Then come back. Because the next 3 levels decide whether you keep the money or give it back. So you have a great week, maybe a great month. You're confident. You're doing the math on quitting your job. Then you lose. Fine. Losses happen. Then you lose again and again. Now you're in a hole. Not deep, a few percent, but you're not thinking clearly anymore. You come in the next day with one goal. Make it back. That's not a plan. That's revenge. You start seeing setups that don't exist. You increase size because in your mind, you need bigger wins to recover faster. Worse trades with bigger size. That's the death spiral. I've watched traders erase 6 months of profit in 2 weeks. Not because the strategy stopped working, but because their ego couldn't accept being wrong. Think of it like surfing. In choppy waters, you see what looks like a big wave forming. And by the time it reaches you, it's nothing. Because the water receding is fighting the water coming in. That's a choppy market. The breakout fails. The reversal doesn't hold. The market is telling you to wait. Real traders wait, sometimes days, sometimes weeks. A professional surfer doesn't paddle out in garbage conditions. After blowing up multiple times, I made 3 rules non-negotiable. 1, 2 losing trades in a day, and I'm done. Not done, but I'll sneak 1 more in. Computer off. 2, 3 losses in a row, and I cut my size in half for the next week. Not because I lost my edge, but because I lost my emotional equilibrium. 3, I don't check my P&L during the session. When you watch the number move, you stop trading setups and start trading feelings. These rules feel stupid when you're winning. They save your career when you're losing. And the core idea underneath all of it, you are not your P&L. A bad week doesn't make you a bad trader. It makes you a trader who had a bad week. Now, the strategy that made my first 100,000 eventually stopped working. I held on for 3 months, lost 25K, and nearly quit. Every trader hits this. Volatility changes, structure shifts, or too many people crowd into the same edge. Month 1, you call it a rough patch. Month 2, you tell yourself this is who you are. Month 3, the win rate is down. The average loss is up. Every data point is screaming and you still don't change. Why? Because you attached your identity to your method. You're not a trader anymore. You're a breakout trader or an ICT trader. Admitting the method died means admitting you were wrong. Traders who last 10 years treat their edges like perishable goods. They ask constantly, not emotionally, but statistically, what's my win rate over the last 50 trades? My profit factor? How does that compare to my baseline? Here's the framework. Track everything: entry, exit, result, setup type, conditions, emotions. Review your statistics weekly, not your P&L. If anything deviates more than 15% from baseline for 2 straight weeks, investigate. And if that data says the edge is gone, accept it and pivot. Great traders are problem solvers who happen to use specific tools. When the tools stop working, they find new ones. No drama, just adaptation. Now the last one. And it's the one most traders completely ignore. You trade every day. No breaks, no weekends, because that's what you think winners do. Your routine slips. You skip journaling. You stop exercising. Stop seeing friends. Then your results quietly deteriorate. Not one blow up. Death by 1,000 cuts. B setups you should have skipped. Winners cut early because you're anxious. Losers left running because you're too tired to manage them. One day there's a fog in your head and you realize you're burned out. Trading is almost entirely mental, so the fatigue is invisible until it's too late. No sore muscles, no shortness of breath, just a low decay in decision quality. And the trap is that when you're losing, you think the answer is to work harder. You're already running on empty. More work just accelerates the crash. So I started treating recovery as a performance skill. After every session, a 20 to 40 minute walk. End of the week, a mental flush. Journal what you learned, what you're grateful for, and what mistakes you're working on. You have to consciously release losses, or they pile up as baggage. Have hobbies outside trading, not optional. For me, it's paintball. Doesn't matter what it is. Your trading brain needs a break. And after every 4 weeks of active trading, take 3 to 5 days fully off. Professional athletes don't train at max intensity 365 days a year. They have off seasons because peak performance requires rest. Your brain works the same way. The goal isn't endless grind, it's sustainable excellence. That's 5 levels and 10 years of trading psychology in 10 minutes. But knowing the mistakes isn't the same as avoiding them, which is why I built my mentorship the way I did. Sitting and trading live with my traders, correcting mistakes in real time. time, keeping them on one simple approach. It's intimate, so I don't work with everyone, but if you are approved, you have my word, I'll stay by your side until you're funded. You don't need it to succeed. It's just a question of whether you want this to take years or whether you want to skip my mistakes instead of repeating them. And last thing, the offer I mentioned earlier is still live. 50K accounts at 4PropTrader, futures and CFD for €1. Only through the link in the description of this video. Nowhere else. Once it's gone, it's gone. Either way, I'll keep putting out videos here every week for free for you.